So this is my first video into the Justice Hunters format. I've wanted to do it for a while, just not had the time. So this one will be just introducing the K9 Vanquish Soul deck. Obviously Vanquish Soul, a deck that's been around for a fair while. I think 2023 in Wild Survivors it first came out, wasn't that good. Then with the addition of two cards, the Holly Sue and the Vanquish Soul Start, Fieldspell of course, literally kind of went wild overnight and won the WCQ. So this is a very complicated deck to just pick up because it's not kind of as linear as some other decks have been in the past. You don't, to my knowledge, have any kind of one card combos that like blow your opponent away, like say like a Snake Eye Ash or a Samsara Lotus or whatever else is around. So really, I just want to show you a bit about kind of what the deck does, what it can do, and some of the good things you can take away from it. So obviously, the deck has been through several iterations since it first debuted about a month ago. I think at first people were playing like quite a heavy K9 package, probably because it was new, it was fun, it was exciting. And it also gives you the attributes. Vanquish Soul needs Fire, Darks, and Earths, and the K9 package really helps you with the Dark and Earth side of that. It's kind of, I guess, more recently people have been dropping the K9 package, finding it bricks. It doesn't help you actually access your Vanquish Souls because bricking is a problem for the deck. And you can't just play hand traps to defend yourself willy-nilly like you would in, say, Yummy. So the deck is quite niche in that way. You have to build it very differently to how you would another deck. You don't just put good non-engine and say, oh, we'll call it a day. Everything has to be very calculated. So what I am going to do is maybe just show a kind of a bit of a like a test hand, a dummy hand, because manipulating your hand is very important. And there are ways you can do that. Rock of the Vanquisher is obviously OP. It's probably the best card in the deck. If you could only run 3 cards in your extra deck, you would run 3 Rock of the Vanquisher. It is so good. Thankfully, we don't just have to run 3, so we actually do only run 2 because we want the utility for the rank 5s. So here we go. We're going to just, off the cuff, see what we can accomplish here. So we're going to go draw Stake Your Soul, Ghost Spell, Raisin, Heavy Borger, and Snow Devil. Okay, so that's a fairly good hand. Doesn't really show you what I meant about bricking as such, but what you want to do really is accomplish the goal of having all 3 attributes, the Fire, Dark, and the Earth, in your hand. So it depends now. You've got a reasonably good hand here. So what would you want to play around? So if your opponent goes, say, Charmy Perulia in draw space, you don't necessarily have to do this because you've got to Stake Your Soul. If they go full loss, you can not use this. For example, if you want to play around Drawl, Drawl's kind of going out the format, but you need to think about what you want your first search to be, obviously. So what we will do here, I would like to normally try and bait out the Ash Blossom first because we really want our Raisin to resolve. So what we're going to do is go Stake Your Soul, reveal a Dark. So that will let us summon a Dark Vanquish Soul with a different name but same attribute. So we will summon out the Mad Love. Mad Love effect will add us a Vanquish Soul spell or trap, which will be the Start. So we're going to activate the Start. Let's just target a Vanquish Soul monster and add a monster with a different attribute to itself. So the second piece that we always want access to, they're kind of like a triumvirate really. So we want always to have the Holy Sue, the Mad Love, and the Raisin. We want access to all 3 every time because they are so good. Right, so we've not yet committed our normal summon, remember, and we probably would have been ashed by now. So what we can do, we're going to special out the Holy Sue by revealing, and we might want to just reveal the Borger for the sakes of keeping information. Then Holly Sue can activate either of its effects because we have all 3 attributes, but for this one we are going to do revealing the Fire and the Dark. So we're going to have to now show our opponent that we do have the Raisin. Okay, but this means we can do whatever we like. So we're going to go Holly Sue effect to summon from deck. And what would we like here? We'll think about it. We can go for, I think we are going to go for the raisin. And one of the things that's very important to learn in Vanquish Soul is you always want to put your raisin in one of the columns under the extra monster zone. That way you can funnel your opponent into using it and block up one of them with your own Rock of the Vanquisher. So you can always threaten to blow their link up. So it's always nice to know. So raisin effect, we'll add a Xiaolong. We could add a Xiaolong if we want to get greedy, but we're not right now. What we're going to do, we're just going to search out the Earth target, the Caesar Valius. No, sorry, let's not do that. Let's go for the Xiaolong, just to show you kind of what the deck can do. Okay, let's now go Xiaolong, reveal it to trigger Raisin's effect where it cannot be destroyed by card effects, just by revealing fire. Xiaolong effect will then trigger to summon itself. So this is our 4th summon, right? Very important, because if you think your opponent has Nib, or your hand dies to Nib, you can now make the Ripper. And that is what 9 times out of 10 I would be doing. If you want to be a bit greedier, leave it like this. Let's put these on an attack just so we've got a bit of room. If you want to be a bit greedier, go for Rock of the Vanquisher first. Okay, we're going to put that there. And we're going to use Rocked effect to add back the Raisin. Because we have 2 fires, we can trigger Xiaolong effect to add a card. And that can be whatever we want. I'll lay my hand here. But in this case, it will probably be the Caesar Valius, because that completes our set and it's a really good interruption on our opponent's turn. If it hadn't have been Snow Devil in our hand, I probably would have added this at that point there, and then accessed the Valius in my opponent's turn via the Raisin. But, you know, that's kind of the way this deck is. You have to just know what you've got, what you want to end on, really. So with this is our hand, bam. Remember this bounces to our hand in the end phase, because it was on Stake Your Soul. So what we can do here, we can get greedy. We can go, all we need is 2 5s. We go Nash Knight, climb up through the Nashes, and we can end on the Umbral Horror. Or we can I like to go on a bit of a kind of less committed board, because that kind of loses a lot to other things. So what we're going to do, just make the Ripper. And because this will be lost in the end phase, what we're going to do is tag it out for the Borger. Set our Snow Devil first, sorry. Use our Borger effect to draw 1. And then we have a hand of 5 cards. So it doesn't look maybe the absolute craziest. Sorry, I also forgot to activate this, with which we'll add an Izuna. Of course, we also have the option to make another rank 5 if we want to search out the Jokul and then use our Holly Sue. We can make another one, make another rank 5, and we could then do our Nash Knight play if we wanted. That kind of board, it's cool, it's really fun. I enjoyed doing it when I first picked up the deck, but kind of through my experience, I've not actually had as much luck with that. It's much weaker to board wipes because it's not protected by start. So normally I would rather just end with lots of Vanquish Souls in hand. Granted, there's not as many on the field right now, but we've got less to lose basically if we get threatened with a board wipe. So that'll be that. And I'll just sort of show you through what interactions we have on our opponent's turn. We would have to discard for hand size if we then pass to our opponent. So we're probably just going to ditch a Raisin. But anyway, so we've got the Rip and Negate, which everyone knows. Let's discount the hand trap because, you know, we could draw anything. But, you know, we've got the Rock of the Vanquisher. So we can then go Raisin. But again, you have to think really carefully because if this gets negated, you're not going to have a fire in hand. So you might not want to do that first. What you probably will want to do is go Caesar Valius effect by tagging out, and then you can chain the effect of Borger to burn or draw, whatever you like. Just for this sake, let's say draw, because it's more sort of visually appealing. Return for the Valius. Then Valious effects, you can non-target pop by revealing one of each attribute. Very cool. So we've got a pop, a hand or grave negate. Then our best one is the Snow Devil. This is the one I would rather keep till last if I can help it. So we'll reveal all the attributes. We have plenty of attributes. We'll reveal all. And at this point, what we can do is summon our Raisin. Messed up the placement there a little bit. Oops. Everything dies. It blows up everything that's not a Vanquish Soul. Raisin will search. We've then got access to the Holly Sue to steal any other pushes they have with our attributes. We've then got Azunas to punish if they've used anything else in the hand or grave. We can bring a Lupus, make a Nashonite, suck up another one, blow a column with Raisin. Yeah, so it's very good. Lots of layered interruption, and I think I generally prefer this to the heavy XYZ boards. But yeah, that's just a little bit about kind of what the deck can do. So I hope that was in some way helpful. It's good for me to refer back to as well. So thank you, and I'll catch you in the next one.